I'm joined now by Stacy Zinn, former DEA resident agent in charge in Montana. We so appreciate you taking the time to speak with us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
How dire is the situation on the ground in Montana? What happens when the sun goes down there?
The problem that we have in Montana is that the pricing of drugs, they can make the cartel can make lots of money up here. And so they are preying on these individuals on the reservation. They're taking full advantage of the lack of law enforcement, the lack of BIA officers or agents, and they're taking advantage of the fact that we don't have enough drug enforcement special agents with boots on the ground here in the state of Montana.
Has the Sinaloa cartel found sort of a perfect situation when it comes to reservations? They've moved in. They know they are not likely to be touched by outside federal agencies. They blend into the population, according to this tribal leader, and they can sell pills of fentanyl for $120 compared to $5 in urban areas. How serious and out of control is the situation?
It's very serious, and the tribal councils have a legit beef. And what do I mean by that? It's not only Sinaloa cartel that's coming up, it's also CJNG, Nueva Generación cartel, is taking full advantage. And what they are doing is that they're setting up stash locations in surrounding states. And so what they'll do is they'll bring up large amount of drugs, stash them in one location, and then they'll transport them or have them transported to these reservations in the cloakness of darkness in each reservations throughout the state of Montana. So we do have a serious problem here, and it's time that DC starts waking up and starts giving us the resources that are needed in order to help our reservations.
Yeah, 9 officers patrolling 652,000 acres just seems like a totally out of control, untenable situation. And that tribal leader we spoke with just a few weeks ago said that the cartel knows how to manipulate this system, that they will call in an emergency or an accident in one part of the reservation, and then all of the resources will be drawn there, and then they will move in the drugs on the back end. He told us that speaking out absolutely is putting his life at risk. I want to listen to this part of the interview together.
My job as our tribal leader from Fort Bound is to protect our people. And that's what I'm trying to do now. If it's at the risk of my own, then so be it.
Stacy, you have seen the situation firsthand on the ground. Do you have a message for Governor Noem tonight as she continues to say that somehow tribal leaders are benefiting from the cartels being in their backyard?
Here in the state of Montana, we have not actually seen that too much. I mean, there are some bad apples out there, just like in any society or community. But the fact is that the cartels, what they end up doing is actually teaming up with other community members, and they'll come in, like I said, in a cloak of darkness, befriend these individuals, and then they actually sell the drugs to these individuals and gets them more addicted. What we are actually seeing is that we need to start communicating more about the dangers of drugs also to the younger generation. We need to start talking about what fentanyl is, what meth is, what all these other drugs are, and we need to start planting those seeds at a younger age so that they'll start growing up and they can say no to drugs. So we have to actually attack this from all angles, and we're not doing that.
Yeah, I really appreciate that perspective. I know you are running to represent Montana in Congress, and we certainly appreciate your time, your perspective. Stacy Zinn, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.